everybody. I hope you're doing well today. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful, festive, and jolly December. I'm a little sad that December's over. It is one of my, if not my favorite months of the year. Not only do we have the Christmas holiday to celebrate, but there's also my birthday and New Year's. I get to see friends and family, eat great food, and it's just an amazing time of year. I always wish that it would last just a little bit longer. I hope you all had an amazing December. Happy holidays. Let me know in the comments below how your holiday went. If you're sad that it's over or you're glad to move on to a fresh start in 2018. I am quite happy with what I got through this month. You're going to see a lot of festive type scents. I got through quite a few candles and a lot of wax. As with all of my empties, I'm going to start out with the random bits, the hand soaps and the wallflowers, and then move into the wax and into the candles. If you're only here for the wax melts, I'll leave the timestamp below. If you're only here for the candles, I'll leave the timestamp below so you can click to that portion of the video and just watch the portion of the video that you're interested in. As these do tend to be longer videos, feel free to stop it and come back to it as you need to. If you're interested in seeing what I melted, used, and burned this month, let's get started. I finished 4 hand soaps this month. The first one I finished was White Pumpkin Peppercorn. This one smelled very similar to the Heirloom Pumpkin candle. It was a creamy pumpkin, vanilla, and a little bit of spice. It was very nice for the end of fall. I did find that the nourishing hand soaps with pumpkin butter were a little more nourishing and moisturizing than the deep cleansing hand soaps. I really enjoyed these. The next one I finished was last year's packaging of Mary Berry Kiss. This one was winter berries, snowy vanilla, and crystallized ginger. This is Bath & Body Works sort of standard berry scent that they bring out in various forms in the winter. It also came out as Winter Wonderland last year, and I really like it. I thought this packaging was really adorable. I also finished this nourishing hand soap with shea extract and winter cypress. This one was a very fresh, earthy and minty scent. I really enjoyed it. I also think this packaging is really pretty. I love that dark green apothecary kind of look. I didn't find, however, that these were particularly moisturizing or nourishing in comparison to the deep cleansing soaps. And the last hand soap I finished was Gingerbread Latte, again from last year's packaging. This one is warm gingerbread, vanilla latte, and whipped cream. This one is a really nice, yummy, gingerbread-esque type scent. You do get a bit of that creamy, milky latte and a nice bit of the gingerbread. I really enjoyed this one. I finished a couple of wallflowers this month. I finished a 2-pack of Marshmallow Fireside. I really love this scent this time of year and in January. It's just a creamy marshmallow with just the right amount of that fireside note, but it's not overwhelming. It's a classic scent in my opinion. I also used a Snow Mountain Lodge wallflower. I also finished Spiced Gingerbread Wallflower, again from last year's packaging. I definitely had a little bit of a gingerbread theme going on in December. And the one I just put in at the end of December is Midnight Blue Citrus, which is the same as Snowflakes and Citrus. For me, I found this is a perfect January and February winter scent. I like something a little bit lighter and brighter in January, especially after some of the heavier bakery and spicy type scents of December. I finished 1 hand cream this month, and this is L'Occitane's Lavender Hand Cream. Just an amazing earthy herbal lavender that I absolutely love, and I do find that their hand creams are very, very nourishing, more so than Bath & Body Works, especially more so than Bath & Body Works reformulated hand creams. I just absolutely love them. They are a bit more pricey, but I feel like you do get a better quality for your money. All right, moving along to the wax melts. As you can see, I did get through quite a bit this month. Before I actually start on the wax melts that I actually finished, I did want to share with you a couple that I didn't quite finish, but I really enjoyed this month. The first one that I didn't quite finish, but I really enjoyed was Zape's Hansel and Gretel's House. Look how cute this little gingerbread man is. There were 2 gingerbread men in this packaging. I cut up and finished one. This one is gingerbread, graham crackers, and vanilla frosting. This one was amazing. It was just the right amount of that spicy gingerbread, graham cracker note with enough of the creamy vanilla icing that it wasn't too spicy. I absolutely love this one, and it was really strong. I would say it was about an 8, if not even stronger, in my 20-watt hot plate warmer for just, a pretty small amount. So really enjoyed this one. I'll definitely save this little man for next year, and I would absolutely repurchase this one again in the future. Another one that I absolutely love but didn't quite finish was the Bathing Gardens Christmas Time. Look how cute it is. This one is bayberry, pine, spice, a little bit of apple. It's just such a festive Christmas scent, and I absolutely enjoyed it. The throw was about a 6.5, 7 7 for 1 cube in my 20-watt hot plate warmer. Just love this one. The next one I was loving this month, it was Super Tarts Christmas Vacation. This one is fresh cut Christmas trees and spearmint. I absolutely love Brandy's spearmint. I love her mint scents in general. I think that's why White Walkers is one of my favorite. It's just such a perfect spearmint. It's great. And this one I mostly got the spearmint. It was just a little bit of the Christmas tree, so I could honestly see melting this any time of year. I really enjoyed this one and would absolutely repurchase it. And then I was loving 2 Destination Wax. One is Vanilla Snowflake, which is a dupe of Bath & Body Works Vanilla Snowflake. Super happy and excited to have this in my life. First of all, this one is actually really strong. 1 cube in my 24-watt or 20-watt hot plate warmer. I get a solid 8.5 throw. Now this is a bit of a more subtle scent in general, even in the candle, but it just fills the space and it's just perfect, especially if you have guests. I absolutely love this one, and it's a spot on dupe to the candle. And then the other one, which I've mentioned in other videos before, is Destination Wax Moon Spice Cookie. I absolutely love this one. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend it, especially if you like a little bit of a spicy type scent. This one is the Celtic Moon Spice mixed with cookie, and just this blend, it just takes that Celtic Moon Spice to a completely different place. It is so good. I even pick up a little bit of coffee in this, and it really does remind me of something from my childhood, something edible that I still can't place my finger on. I love this one. It's another one that's really strong, 8.5 for 1 square in my 24-watt hot plate warmer, and it just lasts and lasts and lasts like over 12 hours. I love this one so much. Now moving on to the wax that I actually finished. I finished Bath & Body Works 'Tis the Season. Love this scent. Christmas in a jar. The strength and throw of the wax melt was 7.5. As with all of the Bath & Body Works wax that I've tried, it starts off really strong, but it just doesn't last long at all. It's not wax that I gravitate toward. I think it's pretty pricey. You only get 0.97 ounces, and it's like $4.50 unless you pick it up on sale. And normally you can get it for about $2 or $2.50, which is still pricey, especially compared to vendor wax. So it's not wax that I clamor to get in the future. I finished several of the Super Tarts Advent Calendar. It was my first year doing it, and it was a lot of fun. It was really neat to have something to look forward to every morning and to open the wax, and I really liked all the different shapes. I didn't try every single scent. There were some that I knew were just not up my street, and so I did sell those in a D-stash. And then there was 1 candle, 1 sachet pouch, and a room spray also within it. So what I'm going to do is just go through all of these that I did try and let you know my thoughts on them before I move on to the rest of the wax. The first one was Twisted Peppermint, Driftwood, and Vanilla Bean Noel. Out of the gate, I was like, wow, this is really different, not what I was expecting. This is a really nice Twisted Peppermint, but you definitely got that fresh driftwood. It actually came across as not a holiday scent at all, but it was a really interesting blend. The strength and throw was about an 8. I could definitely see melting this any time of year. It could be a non-seasonal scent, good all the time. I absolutely would repurchase this one. It was one of my favorites out of the entire bunch. The next one I finished was Mistletoe Buttermint's Champagne. This was a nice Christmas tree branches type scent, and I got the creamy mint, maybe a slight bit of the champagne, but it didn't come across as overly fizzy or overly effervescent. I mainly got the mint and the Christmas trees. As much as I like her mint scents, this one I really didn't care for. The strength and throw was about a 7. The next one I finished was Christmas Tree, Winter Candy Apple, and Basil. Again, when I opened this and saw the scent blend, I was like, what is this? Like, she is kind of known for her outrageous blends, and honestly, for me, sometimes they really work and sometimes they just don't. The basil came across as a bit floral. It was a very fresh blend. I know it says Christmas trees, but really that was way down in there. I mostly got this sort of fresh floral basil, a little bit of the sweet winter candy apple. It was a good one, actually. I really did enjoy it. Not one that I would find myself wanting to melt in December, but could definitely see melting this in the spring. The strength and throw on this bad boy was a 9. It was so strong. The next one I melted was Marshmallow Macchiato Chocolate Chip Cookies. This one was so yummy. I mostly just got that chocolate chip cookie note. When it was melted, I really didn't get much coffee, but I really did enjoy it. It was really nice bakery. Strength and throw was about an 8.5 for half of the shape in my 20-watt hot plate warmer. Really enjoyed this one and would definitely see myself repurchasing it. If you like bakery scents, I think you'd love this one. The next one I finished was Fig Cider, Persimmon, and Patchouli. This was another interesting combination. I mostly got the citrusy persimmon. The other notes did kind of balance out that persimmon some, because I'm not a huge fan of that. The strength and throw was an 8 for half of the shape. I liked it. It was okay for the day that I melted it, but it's not one that I would personally repurchase. The next one I finished was Coconut Cola, Marzipan, pecan and shortbread cookies. This one was mostly the cola. It actually came across as like cola cookies with just a hint of the coconut. I did enjoy this one, surprisingly, because sometimes cola scents can be like very overpowering and in your face, but this one, I think because of the cookie, it really kind of blended itself out a little better. The strength and throw was about a 7 for half of the shape. I'm glad it wasn't super strong because I probably couldn't have dealt with that much cola. But if you like cola scents, or if you like them but wish they were a little bit more subdued or like a little bit of cookie note, I think you'd like this one. The next one I finished was Hot Toddy Orange Cider and Cinnamon Rolls. This was mostly the orange, but I did get some of the spices and some of the sweetness. It did come across as sort of a Christmassy orange scent. I did enjoy it. Strength and throw was about an 8. Not one that I would repurchase though. I finished the Wild Berry Stress Relief Candy Canes. This came across as mostly the stress relief with a little bit of the minty candy cane. Just a hint of the Wild Berry Mousse. This one was just okay for me. It was one that I would like and then I would not like. And then I would sniff again and I would like it, and I would sniff again and I wouldn't like it. The strength and throw was only about a 6. For me, something about this one just didn't quite work, so I would definitely not purchase this one. The next one I finished was the Chai Butter Brickle Cake. This one was like a sweet chai cake, heavy on the chai spices, but it wasn't hot spicy. It was like a warm spicy. I did get a little bit of the sweetness. If you like chai spices, I think you'd love this one. If you're not into spicy scents at all, this one probably isn't for you. The strength and throw was about a 6 for half of the shape. I enjoyed it at the time, but it's not one that I would purchase. The next one I have is Pink Chiffon Blackberry and Balsam. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, when I saw this, I was like, okay, she's taking this blending thing to a completely different level. What in the world is this? And even when I smelled it initially, I just wasn't sure about it. But I liked it enough, and it was interesting and different enough. I'm like, okay, let me just try it. And it actually melted beautifully. I love her blackberry. It's just perfectly sweet and juicy, and I really got enough of that blackberry sweetness, and it really cut through some of the sharpness of the balsam. Balsam scents, for me personally, can be a little too sharp and intense, but the blackberry with the balsam, it was just beautiful, I have to say. I really, really enjoyed this one. The strength and throw was about an 8 for half of the shape. This one actually ends up being my favorite out of all the ones I tried, surprisingly. I loved it, and I will definitely be repurchasing it. And the last Super Tarts Advent scent that I finished was the Graham Sugar Milk and Nog. This one smelled really yummy. You got that sugar milk, which I know some people don't like, but you got the creaminess, you got some sweetness. It was really light on cold sniff, and it was also really light melting. The strength in the throw was only about a 4, and I'm being somewhat generous there. You know, I think Brandy and Super Tarts are kind of known for having strong scents. This one was just a little bit light, but if you were looking for something a little more subtle and light from her, then this one's definitely one that I would recommend. Overall, I have to say I really enjoyed the Super Tarts Advent Calendar. I didn't mean to turn this into a review of the calendar, but since I went through so many scents, I should mention it. And I think that it is something I might participate in next year. If I didn't do Super Tarts specifically, I think I probably would participate in another wax Advent Calendar because it was a lot of fun. Alright, the next scent I finished was another Destination Wax Juniper Walk. This was another tester that I had. Same family is Sweater Weather. Fresh, invigorating, perfect for fall or winter. Absolutely love the scent. Strength and throw is a 7.5 for one little tester melt in my 24 heart Watt Plate Warmer. I've already repurchased this scent and absolutely love it. I finished a Yankee Easy Melt Cup in Red Apple Wreath. This one is very similar, if not an exact dupe, of Bath & Body Works' 'Tis the Season, Christmas in a Jar. This melt cup, the strength and throw, was about a 4.5, so pretty light. I would expected it to be a little stronger. It lasted about 24 hours. I finished Kringle Wax Melt in Cashmere and Cocoa. I love this photo. This one is a little cocoa, a little linen. It's a very unique blend, and as much as I don't really like laundry scents anymore, this one works beautifully and it's perfect. Unfortunately, the strength and throw of this was only about a 3.5. Now, I have had this for over a year, so it could be that it's a little bit old, and I use half of the wax melt in my 24 watt hot plate warmer. I would absolutely repurchase this scent, even though it is a little on the weak side. I finished a Yankees Easy Melt Cup in Candy Cane Lane. To me, this is another classic Christmas scent from Yankee. Creamy peppermint, vanilla, that sweet candy cane perfection. It's such a great scent. This one was also pretty light. It was only about a 3.5, but it did last about 24 hours. Love the scent, but wish that this melt cup was stronger. I finished a 2-pack of Destination Wax gingerbread. As you can tell, I did a gingerbread theme for about a week and was loving every minute of it. Destination Wax gingerbread is outstanding. You get a ginger spicy cookie slash bread. It's absolutely yummy. You get a very authentic ginger in this one, which I love, and it's just very different than a lot of the other gingerbread scents I've smelled. The strength and throw is about a 7.5 for 1 cube in my 24-watt hot plate warmer. I would absolutely repurchase this next year. This one lasted about 9 to 10 hours. I finished the Southbound Soap Santa Snacks. This was part of the Christmas sampler that I had purchased. This one was a sweet, creamy cookie scent. Very, very yummy. If you like your bakery scents, I think you'd love this one. Strength and Throw was about a 7 for half of the scent shot in my 20-watt hot plate warmer. I would definitely consider ordering this next year. It was really good. I finished a Kringle Wax Melt in Jingle All the Way. Look at that photo. It is just beautiful. It reminds me of Polar Express. This one is very similar to Yankee Candle's Christmas Eve. You get berry, spice, citrus, just a really nice scent for this time of year. The strength and throw on this one was a 7.5 for half of the melt. I've had this one the same amount of time as Cashmere and Cocoa. When I stored them all the same way, this one was just a much stronger scent in general. Would definitely repurchase this one in the future. I finished a Snowflake and Vintage Chic Scents Edelweiss. This one was gooey gingerbread cake and cream cheese frosting. Another really nice gingerbread scent. This one had a lot of that cream cheese frosting and it really balanced out that spicy gingerbread. So if you're someone who doesn't like a ton of spice or spicy gingerbread, you may still like this one because that cream cheese frosting really brought down that spice quite a bit. This one was really yummy. The strength in the throw was about a 6 for I think about a fourth of the Snowflake. It lasted about 6 hours in my 20-watt hot plate warmer. I would repurchase this one next year. I finished a Tester in the Bathing Gardens Tinsel Forest. Honestly, on cold sniff, I didn't really like this one that much, but when I melted it, it was amazing. It was Christmas tree, orange, spice. You got a little bit of the tartness. It was just perfect. I'm finding that I really do enjoy Christmas tree type scents, balsam pine, those kind of things, a lot better when it's blended with something to kind of cut some of that sharpness. This one was so good. The strength and throw was about a 7 in my 20-watt hot plate warmer. It lasted about 9 hours, and I actually did order a clamshell in this because I loved it so much. I finished a clam of Scentsy Snowberry. It's just not Christmas to me without a few scents. I have to have Scentsy Snowberry. I have to have 'Tis the Season. I absolutely love this scent. When I smell it, I don't think, oh, this is berries. I kind of think this is woodsy type notes. And you do get some of the fruitiness from the berry. You do get a little bit of the peppermint. It's just perfection. It's if Christmas and winter had a baby and you put it in a clamshell, this is what it smells like, in my opinion. It's like the best of both worlds. I love it. I melt this in December and January. I absolutely adore this scent. Can't say enough good things about it. The strength in the throw is an 8.5. I do use 2 of the cubes in my Scentsy warmer. I will always repurchase this as long as they continue to make it every year. I love it. I finished this Goose Creek Wax Melt in Classic Christmas Tree. I know there's a bit of a glare if you can't really see the label, but it's a really cute label with a little Christmas tree in the decorations. This one is pine, spruce, fir. It is just a pretty much straight up Christmas tree type scent. The strength and throw was a 7.5 for 2 of the little triangles. I finished a clamshell in Scentsy's Eskimo Kiss, another one that I love melting every single year. It's just another one of these blends that I find very, very well done. You don't really pull out each individual note. I can list to you the notes that are in it. I can if I'm really searching for it, but when it actually melts, it just smells like a cohesive, conceptual holiday winter scent, and that's the same as Snowberry. I absolutely love them. They're very well done. The strength and throw on this one is about a 7 for 2 of the cubes in a Scentsy warmer, another one that I will always repurchase every year. I finished the Bath & Body Works Wax Melt in Vanilla Bean Noel. I basically got this hoping to add to the candle and get a little bit more enjoyment out of the Vanilla Bean Noel scent because it is such a yummy, creamy scent that I love it. Unfortunately, this melt was practically scentless. It was a strength and throw of maybe a 2, and I feel like that's even being a little generous. For half of the melt, definitely not a repurchase. Essentially, I felt like I was just melting plain scentless wax. Not a good one. I finished Goose Creek's Christmas Tree Farm. This one is very similar to Yankee Candle's Christmas Eve and Kringle's Jingle All the Way. If you like either one of those scents, I think you'd like this one. You get the candy fruit, the sugar plum, citrus. You get some of the warm woods. Really, really nice scent. I love like a sugar plum type scent this time of year. The strength and throw was 7.5 6.5 for 2 cubes, a definite repurchase for me. I also finished Goose Creek's Winter Bayberry. I always try to melt or burn a bayberry type scent, especially close to Christmas itself. I don't know, it's just sort of traditional. You get the fruity, refreshing, almost invigorating, warm bayberry. The strength and throw was about a 7.5, 8 for this one for 2 cubes. I really enjoyed it and I would repurchase. I finished a 4-pack of Destination Wax Cranberry Balsam. I got more cranberry than the balsam, which was fine with me because, again, some of the balsam can be a little too sharp and just astringent for me. I really, really like this one. To me, this actually would be a good fall or winter scent. The cranberry is like great for November. The balsam makes it great, in my opinion, for December or even January. So for me, I think this is a great transitional scent from fall to winter. Really like this one. The strength and throw is about a 6.5 for 1 square in my 24 watt and 20 watt hot plate warmers. I finished a shape in Candles from the Keeping Room Apple Wreath. This one is very similar to 'Tis the Season. Not an exact dupe, but very similar, very complimentary. It is a little more spicy than 'Tis the Season. The strength and throw was about a 5 in my 24 watt hot plate warmer. I finished a Kringle Wax Melt in Wild Hollyberry. This one is a sweet berry with green holly, kind of pine, woodsy type notes. Really nice mix of the berry and the pine and the woodsy notes. I really enjoyed this one. The strength and throw was about a 5, half of the melt. A really nice scent that I would consider repurchasing. I finished a 4-pack of Vintage Chic Scents Christmas Eve Feast. This one is cranberry garlands, orange peels, and warm cinnamon fir. You get the Christmas tree type notes, the garlands, the fir, and it's really nicely mixed with that fruitiness, a little bit of the citrus. Really nice blend. Strength and throw was about a 6.5 for 1 coin. In my 20 watt or 24 watt hot plate warmer, I did really enjoy this one. I finished a Southbound Soap scent shot in Oh Christmas Tree. This one was pine trees and it was very peppery. Just Oh Christmas Tree, exactly what you can imagine. It smelled like a Christmas tree. The strength and throw was about a 7 for half of the scent shot. I finished a scent shot in Southbound Soap's Frosty. This one is elderberry, which comes across as sort of floral, woodsy. I also picked up a little mint, a little bit of a berry type fruitness. Really nice blend. Strength and throw was about a 7.5 for half of the scent shot. I finished a scent shot in Southbound Soap's Vintage Christmas. This one was spicy, sweet, ribbon type candy scent. Really enjoyed it. The strength and throw was about a 7 for half of the scent shot. I finished a shape in Candles from the Keeping Room Apple Balsam Pine. Ugh, this one was not for me. It smelled like pine sol with apple. I didn't enjoy it. I'm not a huge pine scent fan anyway. I actually had to dump this one out. And the strength and throw was great though. It was like a 7.5, 8, which of course it would be, right? Because I just tested it. I had to like air out my room. Anyway, this one, not for me. I finished a Clamshell and Super Tarts Holiday Latte. This one is crispy gingerbread cookies dunked in freshly brewed latte. To me, this one came across as more coffee than the gingerbread, so it came across kind of like a creamy, sweet coffee scent. It was just okay. Not my personal favorite. Strength and throw was about a 6.5 for 1 cube. Probably not a repurchase for me. And the last two that I have here, on New Year's Eve, I finished Vintage Chic Scents Times Square Countdown. This one was a champagne apple scent. The strength and throw was about a 7.5 for 1 shape in my 20 watt hot plate warmer. This one was just okay, but something about the combination of the apple, it just didn't quite work for me personally. It was okay, but I wouldn't repurchase it. I should have mentioned this one at the beginning of the video, but Destination Wax Sugar Vanilla Champagne. I obviously didn't finish this particular 4-pack, but I love this scent. This is probably hands down my favorite champagne scent. It's the perfect amount of that bubbly effervescence mixed with vanilla and sweetness, and it's just perfect. I loved it. The perfect New Year's Eve scent. Perfect celebration type scent. Highly recommend this one. And last but certainly not least, for wax melts, I finished Yankee Candle's Easy Melt Cup and Bubbly Pomegranate. Wow, this bad boy was strong, fruity, sweet, bubbly, amazing. Perfect for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. The strength and throw was an 8.5. I repeat, an 8.5 for this melt cup. It was so strong when I first turned it on, I actually had to turn it off. I'm not complaining about that one bit. I would love all Easy Melt Cups to be that strong. Love this one. Would absolutely repurchase it for next year. And I feel like this one lasted well over 24 hours. Like I did it at least 2 18-hour rotations on my centerpiece, and it was still strong the entire way through. So highly recommend this one if you like fruity, bubbly type scents. All right, that is all the wax melts for this month. If you are only here for the wax melts, thank you so much for watching. Leave me your comments below. And if you're staying for the candles, let's get started. I finished a pack of Yankee Candles Tea Lights in Soft Blanket. Anthony from the Candle Cafe really turned me on to the scent, and I'm so glad he did because it's amazing. Honestly stayed away from this because I just assumed it was like your white cotton laundry scent, but this is actually much more complex. You do pick up some of that laundry linen type of scent, but it's also very, very relaxing, very comforting. It really does make you want to cozy up in a blanket, and it's like perfect for nighttime and relaxation. So I finished these and really enjoyed them. If I can find them again, because I heard the scent was being discontinued, I absolutely would. I also finished a box of Goose Creek Tea Lights in Peppermint. These performed just fine. Some of them burned great, but then there were some that pretty much tunneled themselves down. I have this tea light holder that has 6 or 7 tea lights, and I started all the tea lights at the same time, but like half of these went out almost an hour and a half before the other ones did. So, that kind of inconsistency is a little aggravating. But I picked these up, I think, for like $1.50 during one of their sales. So you really can't beat that for $1.50. The first full candle I finished this month was Bath & Body Works Fireside Christmas. I love this packaging. It's beautiful. This glass is just perfect. I will definitely try to repurpose this. This cut green glass is just gorgeous. This one is Firewood Bundle, Pine Needles, Crisp Eucalyptus, and Smoked Incense. I picked this up at semi-annual sale last year, and I'll be honest, I struggled to get through it. I started it last year and couldn't finish it. This one is mostly the fireside scent, smoldering embers, a smokiness. I get some of the tree notes, but it's mostly fireside, which is not my personal favorite scent. The strength and throw was an 8. The burn was absolutely great. It was a bit of a fast burner. I did have to trim the wicks and keep them trimmed. As you can see, there's a little bit of soot there. Otherwise, it was great. I would not repurchase this scent. Again, I'm not a huge fan of fireside scents, but if you like fireside scents, highly recommend this one for you. I finished this 4-ounce Bath & Body Works candle in winter. Love the scent. Quintessential holiday scent. Perfect for December, January. Absolutely loved it. I don't normally have the best luck with these 4-ounce jars, and this is why. As far as the strength and throw, it did fill my master bathroom, which is where I had it. It was about a 3.5, so not terrible. It's definitely not something that you could put in a big room. It's definitely a bathroom type candle. As you can see, this tunneled horribly. I did try to save it a couple of times and take a butter knife and push down the wax, but it was just beyond help at some point. And this is sort of typically what I've dealt with these 4-ounce candles. They tunnel pretty badly. It's a 1-wick issue. I feel like I've had some pretty good luck with these recently, so I was due for a tunneling one. I finished, in quotes, Bath & Body Works 'Tis the Season. I know I say it, I've said it, I'm going to say it again. Christmas in a jar, Christmas in a candle. Have to have this scent every year. It's a fave. Strength and throw is 6, 6.5. I do feel like this year's version is weaker than past years. As you can see, there's actually quite a bit of wax here, and the wax that is left is pretty discolored brown. The very first part of the burn was fine, but I would say about a third way in, I got puny wicks. I did trim them after the first couple burns, so it is possible that I may have over trimmed them, but I have heard from other people they had the same issue, so I don't think that was it. I cotton balled it, I poured out some of the wax, and then I trimmed the wick back down and tried to get it to burn again, because sometimes that does work. For this one, that didn't even work. It actually did affect the smell because it just started smelling burnt and gross. It didn't actually even retain the 'Tis the Season smell. Not happy with this particular version of this year's candle. I love this scent. I need Bath & Body Works to get this one right because it is one that I rely on every year. I will absolutely repurchase the scent next year. Definitely wouldn't repurchase this packaging. I finished a 2-wick tumbler in Yankee Candles Candy Cane Lane. Creamy, sweet peppermint vanilla, yummy, great peppermint candy cane scent. Love it. Unfortunately, the strength and throw of this was only about a 3. I could get whiffs sometimes. It's like I got a little whiff and then I couldn't get anything. I essentially just finished burning it more for the ambiance than anything else. The burn was okay. As you can see, there is quite a fair amount of soot there. I would say that's a medium sooter. These 2-wick tumblers, in my experience, have been pretty sooty, so I'm definitely not going to be repurchasing the 2-wick tumblers for me personally. It's just too much to deal with. You can't let them burn as long as normal Yankees. They do get sooty. You have to keep the wicks trimmed really, really low. And then when I don't even get that great of a throw, what's the point? I might as well have the 1-wick jars. I really like the scent. Will definitely want to purchase the scent in some form in the future, but I wouldn't repurchase the 2-wick tumbler. I finished a Homeworks candle in Wild Fig and Red Currant. I love this etched, really heavy glass jar. You can see how large these are. in comparison to a Bath & Body Works candle. They're quite large. This scent is beautiful. I'm pretty particular about fig scents. Sometimes I just can't do them. You have to have just the right enough fig and sweetness for me to like it, and this one is perfection. I get the earthy green, almost slightly bitter fig paired with that sweet crisp red currant, and then some of that warm cedar wood. There's a little bit of undertones of floral, but it's not a floral scent. This one is just the right balance of the sweet and the green. The burn was actually wonderful. You know, I've heard mixed reviews about these. Some people saying that they didn't pull out properly, that they took forever to pull out. I don't know if it's because these glass jars are maybe a little more heavy weighted than the other ones, but I didn't have any problems personally. It pulled out, no issues. It pulled out probably about an hour. I mean, it took a little longer than a Bath & Body Works candle, but it was not bad at all. The strength and throw was like a medium high. It was great. It filled my whole master suite, the bedroom, the bathroom. It was beautiful. I'm really, really happy with this candle. Really, really enjoyed this scent. And if I could purchase just this scent by itself, I would absolutely repurchase it. But the way that he's got his candles marketed right now, you buy them in two. So like this one is paired with a pumpkin scent, and you have to buy both of them to get this one. I don't necessarily want another one of the pumpkin candles because I haven't even burned the first one. So I'm hoping that maybe he'll reconsider his marketing or selling tactics in the future, because I'd love to purchase just this candle without having to also get a second candle that I may or may not like. So maybe he'll consider that, because this one was beautiful and absolutely loved it. Would love to get my hands on another one. I finished a Henry Bendel cinnamon bark 1-wick candle. This is not your typical super spicy cinnamon. You think by the name cinnamon bark that it's going to be like red hot cinnamon or cinnamon and clove buds, but it's not. You get the cinnamon, but it's a bakery cinnamon. You get this muskiness, you get clove, you get a little bit almost of a smokiness. It's very warm. There's almost sort of a perfume type vibe to it. It's just very, very different. The strength and throw was a 6.5, which I was very surprised about because it is only a 1-wick candle. Even now, with this little bit of wax that's left, this is very, very fragrant. It was sooty. I did keep the wick trim pretty low, and I would have to let it only burn for maybe like an hour and a half. 2 at the tops, at the absolute top, and I had to blow it out because it just got so sooty. It did start to tunnel a little bit at the very end, but otherwise I didn't have any tunneling issues with it. I did enjoy it. It's a very different take on a cinnamon scent. I finished a Bath & Body Works 3-wick Merry Mistletoe. This one is frozen cranberries, sparkling pear, icy peppermint, and balsam branches. I did do an individual candle review of this scent last year, if you're interested in seeing that. A great Christmas December scent. It's just beautiful. This had a great burn. I mean, look how clean that is. No residue on the sides. The perfect burn. It wasn't too fast. It wasn't slow. It was like that perfect medium burn that I wish all candles could have. Strength and throw was about a 6.5. It's a more subtle scent than some of the other Bath & Body Works candles, but for me, it was just perfect. I loved it. It was very, very adequate. Love this scent. Would absolutely repurchase it in the future. I finished this cute Kringle jar in Cozy Christmas. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Look at that label. Is that not perfection? So beautiful. This one is a very warm and cozy scent, very reminiscent of Bath & Body Works Winter. Those are the kind of vibes that I get from this one. It's a little sweeter, I think, than Winter. Unfortunately, it was very light. I haven't had great success with these 1-wick tumblers from Kringle. The strength and throw was about a 2.5. It really didn't even fill my master bathroom. It didn't want to tunnel the entire time. It looks pretty good here because I did use a butter knife to kind of push down the wax. Because of the type of wax that is used, it is really easy to push it down and kind of force it to burn correctly, but I did have to work with it the entire way. Otherwise, it would have tunneled straight down the middle. I like the scent. I'd probably pick it up in a wax melt, but I wouldn't pick up this particular style from Kringle. I finished a Bath & Body Works spiced gingerbread. I want to take a moment to admire this gorgeous packaging. Look at this freaking cute label. I know that I said this last year, but especially because of the dismal labels they gave us for fall and winter this year, I feel like I should take a moment to appreciate last year's beautiful label. It's just perfect with the little gingerbread, and it looks like a little stamp. I love it so much. Spiced gingerbread is spiced gingerbread, vanilla icing, sparkling cinnamon sugar, and fresh ground nutmeg. They did bring this scent out again this year, but it was in quotable packaging, and I'm so glad that I had this one from last year to burn. It's a nutmeg heavy gingerbread scent. You do get some of the vanilla. It's a really, really nice blend. I really enjoyed the scent. It went perfectly with my little gingerbread theme that I did. The strength and throw was about a 4.5, 5. Not one of their strongest scents. The burn was okay. You're going to be like, wow, that was kind of weird. It was a little bit sooty. I did keep the wicks trimmed. It was huge wax pulls. It would pull all the way down to the bottom at some points. But sometimes when they do that, that wax tends to get really sooty, especially because this was white wax. And it did affect the smell at the very end of the candle. I ended up trying to cotton ball it and save it, but it was just kind of too late, which is why there's really no wax in there left. I do love the scent. If they brought it back in cute packaging, I would repurchase it. I finished Dear Santa, I Blame the Eggnog, which is eggnog cheer. This one is spice eggnog, vanilla bourbon, rich buttercream, and shaved nutmeg. To me, this is a very nutmeg heavy scent. It came across as sort of a nutmeg rum cookie. It was very creamy. I sometimes got whiff of maybe what I consider kind of a true eggnog scent, but other times it just kind of came across as like a nutmeg cookie. I felt like I did pick up a very similar note that's in Mary Cookie to this one, which is why in my mind it became sort of a nutmeg cookie scent and not really a true eggnog. I didn't pick up very much of the rum. I would have liked to have a little more of that, but I did really enjoy the scent. It was really, really nice. The strength and throw was about a 5.5, 6. The burn was good. It's a little sooty looking down there, but really the burn was great. I didn't have any issues with the burn, so happy about that. I do have one more of these. I think they sold out pretty quickly, but if you can get your hands on it, I do recommend it. It's really, really nice. I finished a 1-wick Yankee Candle iced gingerbread. This was from last year's Sweet Shop collection. I got about 50% gingerbread and 50% sweet icing. It was a nice scent, but it's definitely not my favorite gingerbread scent, but it was still very nice and it complemented the other gingerbread scents that I was melting and burning. Again, sadly, the strength and throw was only about a 3. I really could not smell it at all unless I was hovering over it, or if I was like right beside the candle, I could smell it. The scent didn't go anywhere. The burn, as usual, was great. You can see there's really no residue whatsoever. It really didn't even soot. This one wouldn't be a repurchase for me. I finished Bath & Body Works Peppermint Marshmallow. This was last year's packaging. This one is crushed peppermint, homemade marshmallow, and confectioner's sugar. Really nice, creamy, sweet peppermint. You get this sweet, fluffy marshmallow. Really like the scent. The strength in the throw was about a 6. Another really odd looking one here. The burn was okay. The first half was fine, no issues. The second half started to struggle. The throw actually reduced after the second half to probably about a 4. The last fourth of the candle was just poop. Like the wax had discolored. I really wasn't getting anything from it, so I dumped out the wax. Like the scent. I feel like the scent's worth it, even though the burn is not the best. My son actually finished Snow Mountain Lodge. This one says made with notes of smoked embers, pine, and patchouli essential oils. My son burned it. He enjoyed it. I could smell it from his room. The strength and throw was about a 6.5. It filled his room. It came into the hallway. The burn was good per my son. There were no issues. It doesn't look very sooty. And he's not one to like tend to candles, so I feel like this one actually probably was a good burn. It's a syrupy cola, patchouli, and pine type scent. It's a very interesting combination. Very, very different. I think if you've been looking for something different, or if you like kind of that syrupy cola type scent, I think that you'd really like this one. I finished, again, air quotes on finished, Bath & Body Works Vanilla Bean Noel. I love the scent. Creamy, yummy, vanilla. I tend to buy one every year. I tend to have the same bad luck with them every year. You would think I'd learn my lesson. But this one, I have to say, was a little bit stronger than previous years. So yay for that. The strength and throw was about a 4.5, 5. It was a medium throw at first. Halfway through the burn, it decreased significantly. The first half of the burn was great. No issues. The second half of the burn was terrible. I mean, it was just crap, really. There's a fourth of the wax left. I got puny wicks. The wax discolored. It changed the smell. It didn't smell like yummy, creamy Vanilla Bean Noel. It smelled like sooty wax. You can see here on the side. It didn't even pull out on that side all the way. I tried everything I could to save it. Tried to cotton ball it once. Didn't work. Didn't help. Great scent. Don't like this packaging. Wouldn't recommend this packaging. the burn was crap. I finished a mini Yankee Candle red apple wreath. I had this in my guest bathroom. Love this scent. Smells very similar to Bath & Body Works 'Tis the Season. Christmas in a jar. This one had a good burn. You can see how clean it looks on the side. It was great. No tunneling, which I was actually surprised about. Of course, it's a tiny candle. The strength and throw is about a 2, 2.5. I'm impressed with that considering it's such a small candle. I could actually smell it in the small bathroom. Definitely love this scent and would repurchase it. And last but not least for December is another 'Tis the Season. I had to try again. I love this scent. I wanted to burn it closer to Christmas, so I did pick it up this sort of ornament bauble packaging. Strength and throw of this one was about a 6, so similar to the other 'Tis the Season packaging. I feel like it wasn't as strong as last year, but it was still good. I could still smell it. The first half of the burn was fine. No issues whatsoever. The middle of the burn, about right here, it started getting gross and yucky wax, so I did pour out that gross wax and trim the wicks down and then burned it for the last fourth. The last fourth of the burn was great. As I said before, I would definitely repurchase this scent in the future, but I wouldn't keep this packaging in my collection. This one I did think performed better than the other one though. Alrighty, that is it. That is all of my candles, wax, and random bits for the month of December. Let me know in the comments below what you have been melting and burning this month. What are your favorites? What are your must burn or melt Christmas and holiday scents? I would love to know. If you like this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you like to see other videos like this, please subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching and all of your support. Bye.